definitely want to go into the topic of magic. Um, Basically, what you want to know about magic is something basic like your life force energy. The reason why you're able to breathe forth life is important because magic is not something that's going to come out of the air. It's going to come from within you. You know, the first part of learning magic is to learn universal law. The reason why universal law is important is because you want to understand how your environments work. As above, so below, as within, so without. So basically, when you're manifesting on a regular day basis, your thoughts, your most dominant thoughts become your reality. So it's important to um, look at magic in that sense. That's like the elementary version. The second version is when you're using um, things like elements from water, air, earth, fire to create and manifest as well. Focusing your intentions. And like when it comes to the occult world, it's such a wide range that we have been removed from because we've been given um, somebody else's traditions, religions, customs, and understanding while rejecting our own. And this is why I go so hard to go into the science of self and the science of manifestation because that's what's going to keep us afloat. The things that we obtain as wisdom is something that the spirit holds on to. Like it's like adding books to a book bag or something like that. So it's like it's very important that we learn these laws and implement them in our everyday life. For instance, when you're going into the practice of sorcery, it's like law of repetition. That's one of the universal laws. And then you're going into mantras. Mantras is repetition. It's a practice, a spiritual practice. Anything that you're doing repetitiously becomes a part of every part. That particular exercise right there is a martial arts form and it's law of repetition. I'm doing the same thing over and over and over until it becomes a part of every part. Now, what we have to understand is that as a whole, we're already magical people. The magic is within us. You know, if I take it to a sexology standpoint, um, your life force energy for the feminine energy is in the ovaries. That's where life begins, in the ovaries, where the root chakra is. Dealing with creation, dealing with manifestation. So I think that like some people can't have children because they may have some type of chakra blockage. So in another way we can really just harness this magic is to definitely study, definitely get into the practices. When you go into the ancient Melchizedek, you learn sun salutations, yoga in the form of receiving the radiation from the sun into your undun oblongata. Like, oh my God, I can really just sit here and physically show you on another occasion. But I had to do this video for my sister, so I want to, you know, keep it basic, starting out. A lot of people I do realize are really coming into the occult science because you eventually realize that the traditions and stuff is not organic and it wasn't for you to begin with, but it was mainly against you. You know, we have before we were held into captivity, we had our own gods and goddesses that we uphold tradition and wisdom with. So we didn't really need somebody else to come in and tell us how to be authentic when we are original. We are the original. We are the American indigo children, and there are indigos, Anunnakis all around the world, and we keep following what somebody else is teaching us. We have to get out of the school system way of thinking. We need to debunk the history that they gave us, and we need to develop our own understanding, our own research about who we are, so that we can stop indoctrinating our children, with the BS. Like, period. Like, it's just time to wake up and realize and recognize who you are. Another example I'm going to give you, and I just noticed that my girl Pompajura, she's sitting back there on the bar, and she's a goddess under Palo Mayombre, and she was a human in this life, and she and other Pompajuras were venerated to the degree of Pompajura. Now, this particular woman is a protective energy. She is pretty good to work with. She deals with a lot of women who have been through rape, who have been through abuse. You know, this is a person that you would introduce to a person that is a survivor of human trafficking. Because at the end of the day, like recently, they just said that, oh, they got a lot of kids that were captured from human trafficking. I think it was like maybe 39, 40 children or whatever. But at the same time, it's good. They got found. They made it back safely. But now the healing has to take place. And we need to stand up if we're healers and reach out to people, not just those, but there are so many that have been through this type of trauma. And so it's time for us to implement the healing, giving them the degrees to help them to remove that trauma so that they can move forward in their lives, because we don't really know what they went through. And when we have people that came out of that type of trauma, this is when your girl Pambajera comes into play. She does healing. She's protected prostitutes and everything. You know what I'm saying? So if she a protected prostitute, she's gonna protect somebody who's been through rape, molestation, and all of that. It's time for us to go back to our roots of our ancestors and implement the healing. Because I've talked to so many clients that deal with molestation as a child. Big mama or somebody in the family done swept it under the rug that Uncle Tony done touched them improperly or had sex with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much going on, and we need to tackle these issues. We don't need to wait on the government to do it. We need to coven up, team up, or whatever we got to do to prevent this from happening. If a person teaches martial arts, they need to definitely implement an affordable class that a group of women can take for self-defense. We need to definitely ante up on that situation, because it's been out of hand for years. Like, my mom's boyfriend at the time, they actually grew up together, and his brother was one of the kids that was kidnapped back in the 70s, and they blamed it on this guy named I forgot the guy's name, but they say you got to be in the house before the streets light come on, or Willie somebody is going to get you or whatever. But it wasn't him that committed all those murders of little boys. Like, at the end of the day, we know that that was governmental. All the little boys were found with their testicles cut open because the pre-developed semen um, is a cure for skin cancer. And we all know who walking around with skin cancer. It ain't melanated folk, because the sun, what, kisses us every morning. So, we definitely want to get into the practice, the repetition of studying natural law, going into metaphysics, spirituality, because why wouldn't we? Spirituality deals with development of the spirit, so that we won't keep coming back here having to repeat the same lessons that we have to learn right now. It's like get it right now in the here and now, because tomorrow ain't promised, and yesterday is gone. So it's very important. Um, Also, I would recommend for us to, like, even if you have, like, you're good at cooking or something and you want to make different stews, different teas, different regimens, write it down. Even if you get it from somebody else that was recommended by a friend, get it, because a recipe book is like a book of shadows. And a book of shadows is basically rituals, a journal of rituals that you have tried, and you get to see the manifestation. This is what happened when I did this. This is the aftermath, so that you won't forget it. Because again, we're dealing with law of repetition. Um, we definitely want to get into the practice of balancing out our energies through sound, like the 528 megahertz, which deals with the love vibration. You can play it on YouTube. You can do it with the singing bowl. There has been times where me and a friend of mine, we'll go out to the woods. It's water. We're dealing with elements, earth, water, fire, air, and there are other people out there, and we're all just vibrating on this same frequency, which was in fact magical. So definitely have a good time with that one. And to build up your chi, to manifest what you want, first you are what you eat. The food that we consume becomes a part of our blood, tissue, and organs. And the more nutrition that you put in your body, the more minerals you consume, because we are magnetic and we're also electrical bodies. So it's important that we implement these things into our diet, because for some rituals that you may end up doing, you have to ground, you have to build up the chi. And if a man is having sex all the time, how can he manifest what he wants if he's just wasting his life force? So with women, and this ties us into sex magic. With women, we give up our life force energy once a month during our menstrual cycle. And that's the time that a goddess should take to isolate herself and focus on her intentions as that energy is leaving her body. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know that when the cycle comes on, like, I'll get really tired, really sleepy, because I know that I'm losing blood, I'm losing life force. You know what I'm saying? When a man is losing sperm, he's losing life force. So you take that energy and you utilize it. You take all the emotions, all the intentions, and you put it into that energy. So when it leaves your body, it's going to come back to you as something favorable, versus a person repetitively focusing on the things that they don't want. The things that you don't want can manifest just as well as the things that you do want. So this comes into the law of change your mind, change your life. Just like that. Nobody's saying that it's going to be easy, but it helps when you're around like-minded people that are on the same frequency as you, that want change. And in order for us to want change in our lives, we have to get tired of our present conditioning, period. So it's very important to implement these laws in our lives. The first thing, a lot of people, like, are afraid because they've only learned one way in their lives. But in order to start to receive the manifestation that you want in your life, you have to first change your life by changing your mind, changing your perception of things. You don't ever let somebody else tell you to be afraid of your ancestors, because you came from them and they came from you. So if you separate a person from their original tradition, you're actually taking away their culture, taking away their heritage, taking away who they are as a spirit. Because the person, the flesh, the meat sheet is only an illusion. So it's very important that we implement this science and become what we know. It ain't no if, no and, no but, no running away from it. Because if we do that, we're going to be subjected to repeating. And the only constant thing in this universe right now is change. Because so much has changed. The people that have been working against our people, they put a lot of this stuff that they're doing right now in place years ago so it can manifest right when they want it to. So we have to definitely take that into consideration when building ourselves, build our diet. We have to go out and ground a lot more. I know a lot of earth signs that love being in nature. Bring your water signs, your air signs and stuff on with you too, boo, so that we can get this work done. If you have like friends or families or associates that's on the same frequency, just come together one day and just hold hands in a circle and focus on your intentions and what it is that you want the outcome to be, and see what happens. It's real. I've done it like a lot, so um just give an example of women. Women are exceptionally powerful. I'm not trying to take away from the men, but you have to understand that as women breathe forth life, it's more than holding your legs up and pushing. If a woman is taught the science of the breath properly, she can push out a 13-pound baby, without C-sections and all this type of stuff. So, we technically need our own doulas. We're supposed to give birth in darkness and not under lead lighting. But we just going with the flow. We have our children in hospitals because that's how we were taught. We wasn't taught the ancient indigenous way of childbirth. Um, I pretty much read about it, so I didn't. I had natural birth, so it was divine. But that life force energy, especially when you're not trying to have children, it needs to be um, to the point of knowledge of self where you can do deer exercises to stop your menstrual until you're ready to have children. So if we learned that, it wouldn't be no more abortion clinics. It wouldn't be no more IUD contraceptives that can deteriorate the womb. And a lot of our healing starts in our gut, in our root chakra, in our digestive system, and things of that nature. So we definitely have to have that in check. Another thing when it comes to utilizing magic is the mind frame. For years I've been doing videos to try to get people out of the mind frame of banefulness, hatred, jealousy. Because to me, high level of sorcery is like martial arts. You wouldn't go picking on somebody just because you know karate or whatever, or goju or kali or jujitsu or whatever. You might have those hands, but to a novice, to a person that really can't defend themselves against you because your body is a weapon, you're not going to try them. They're just like a 20-year-old trying to fight a 5-year-old. So it definitely comes with discipline. And that's why occult science that's one of the reasons why it's a secret. It can be a blessing, but then it could be detrimental, because you have people coming out here experimenting, working with gods, and don't know the rules, don't know the code, and you can't do that, because regardless if you're working with a deity or Orisha or Loa or whatever, you have to move right, or here comes that Saturnalia energy ready to kick you in the butt. So at the end of the day, you have to go into this science on a level of maturity, on a level of, I'm using this science to grow my spirit, to develop myself. You know, I don't know who that person was yesterday, but today is a new day, because I did these implements in my life to improve me first. Improve yourself, and that way and then if you improve the inside, the outside will show about what you're doing. But if you're taking this science and you're doing hateful things that doesn't appreciate with value, that doesn't add to your spirit, it's dumb, because you're going to just repeat that mistake, because you clearly haven't learned anything. You know what I'm saying? The universe works like that. We can't change it. The only thing in the universe that's constant is change. But the change has to start with us. We don't like what's going on with this pandemic and everything like that. We have to change it by changing something that's going on inside of us. Allowing acceptance of something that dehumanizes you is one of the changes that we have to make if we want to build black economics or whatever. We're going to pull together a think tank of minds that's thinking on the same page to build a business. Okay, we're going to look at this business over here. Okay, this is a black owned business or whatever, and they want to implement change in their community. Okay, so one thing that this person has to stop doing is being late, having poor products. That's one thing that disenfranchises our community too, is conditionings of, you always know a person of color for CP time or whatever. So how should me and my think tank put energy into this business that we want to support, black owned business, so to speak, but we can't be on time. We can't make sure our products are in good standing to please the customer. If a person's spending their money, they're going to want quality. They want efficiency. They want good customer service. So if we want the business that a lot of people have besides us, we have to see what's being implemented. And if we need to change some things, change some things. If we're not ready for a business, hey, keep working for somebody else. But if you really want somebody to support your business and you have other business minded people, you all have to gel at the same frequency. Always do a ritual or something like that before you even open the business to bless it. Ask one of the Orishas to come through, bless my business, what. It ain't always about asking for something material. Sometimes you just need the blessing to bring in and stay positive. And the reason why it's so important to stay positive too when it comes to magic, because your intentions amplified in order to create your reality. So when you're focusing on harming somebody, you're still actually focusing on damaging yourself. Because while you're harnessing all that type of negative energy, what's taking place? You're releasing cortisol into your bloodstream. And it's doing what? Lowering your immune system. And that's very important to understand when you want to get ready to get the magic popping. That's just all it is to it. But I definitely want you guys to also Check out my occult magazines with Dark Lordism. I did them a couple of years ago. I have 3 volumes, and it's really for the novice. It gives you the understanding of magic. I have one with Marie Laveau. I did that on Halloween one year, and I did one right after that with Pambajira. And the last one I did was the Hindu magic, when it talks about mantras, sounds, frequencies, how to um, recondition yourself, change the way you think. You know, if you got a headache, go listen to Shiva. Things like that. So it's like um, put in the most simplest form to where a child can understand and implement it in their lives as well. And the younger you are, by the time you, as a woman, by the time you cut your cycle, you're no longer giving up that life force. So you're able to obtain magic. You're not releasing anymore. You're going through the phases of the moon, the mother, the maid, and the crone. So, also I'll be definitely coming out too soon with my book. I did a lecture on it, but the book is Her Blood is Magic, and it tells a woman how to implement sorcery into her cycle while she's sitting there, watching TV or something. She could be like putting on some mantras or something like that and focusing on putting this energy of what she wants to manifest, visualizing the outcome, so that her life can change up real quick, So definitely check out those books, Tarisha, she may send you guys the link for the books, and I could pretty much go on about this all day, but I definitely want to let that part sink in, and definitely stay tuned and watch my YouTube channel as well. Seven Sage Healing. You can be the Dark Lady, and it's been a blessing and a pleasure speaking with you guys. Peace and love.